There's a hard truth most men refuse to face. A woman doesn't respond to what sounds good. She responds to what feels powerful. You were told women want softness, constant validation, endless reassurance. But the women you desire don't feel attraction through comfort alone. They feel it through presence, tension, and controlled strength. Modern advice teaches men to chase approval. Machiavelli would have advised you to study what women respond to when their instincts take over, not what they publicly claim to value. If you don't understand the psychological layer beneath a woman's words, you will always be trying to impress the women you desire instead of triggering them. What you're about to learn are 6 hidden psychological hacks that activate a woman's instinctive desire, the kind that makes women choose you, crave you, and willingly move closer. But before we begin, if this speaks to you and you are truly ready to change this year, write in the comments, "I am ready to change." Let's begin. The first hack you must use if you want modern women to actually crave sleeping with you is this. You must control the frame before you ever try to escalate anything. Desire doesn't start in the bedroom. It starts in the dynamic. A woman doesn't move toward a man who is waiting for permission. She moves toward the man whose energy feels stable, grounded, slightly ahead of the moment. The frame is simple. Who is leading the rhythm of the interaction, and who is adjusting? Imagine you're texting a woman you just matched with online. Most men reply instantly, over-explain, double text when she pauses. They give their attention before it's earned. Instead, you respond calmly, directly, without flooding her with validation. If she takes 2 hours to answer, you don't collapse into anxiety. You stay consistent. You don't chase the tempo. You set it. Suddenly, she's the one wondering what you're doing. That shift is not visible, but she feels it. Or imagine you're sitting next to a woman at work, in class, at a family gathering, anywhere normal. She tests you lightly, maybe teases you, maybe withdraws eye contact. Most men rush to fix the tension. You don't. You hold your posture. You maintain slow, deliberate movements. You let your silence linger just long enough that she becomes aware of her own heartbeat. That's when desire starts to grow. Not because you said something clever, but because she feels contained inside your emotional steadiness. Machiavelli would have advised you to never enter a situation where you are reacting more than directing. The one who controls the atmosphere controls the outcome. If your energy bends every time she shifts, she will never surrender to it. But when your presence remains stable, unshaken, deliberate, her body begins to calibrate around yours. Most men try to earn sex through effort. What actually makes a woman want to sleep with you is the feeling that stepping into your space means stepping into certainty. Certainty feels safe. Safety mixed with tension feels intoxicating. So what do you actually do? You slow down. You reduce unnecessary words. You stop over-justifying yourself. You decide instead of asking endlessly. You allow pauses. You make her lean in emotionally before you lean in physically. And once a woman begins adjusting to your frame, something primal activates. Because now she is not interacting with a boy seeking approval. She is standing in front of a man whose presence feels solid enough to surrender to. But controlling the frame alone only sets the stage. If you really want women to crave you physically, you must learn to introduce emotional tension without breaking that control. And that is where the second hack becomes far more dangerous. The second hack you must use if you want a woman to actually crave sleeping with you is this. You must create emotional tension strong enough that her body starts anticipating you before you ever touch her. Comfort builds friendship. Tension builds desire. A woman doesn't fantasize about the man who makes her feel safe and predictable. She fantasizes about the man who makes her feel slightly unsteady. Not unsafe, but aware. Aware of her breath. Aware of her skin. Aware of the space between you. Picture something simple. You're sitting next to her on a couch watching something casual. Most men either avoid proximity or rush it awkwardly. Instead, you let your leg rest close enough that she feels your warmth, but not your weight. You don't move immediately. You let the awareness build. You glance at her slowly. You look at her lips once, not repeatedly, just once, and then back to her eyes. You say nothing about it. Her imagination does the rest. Or imagine you're texting late at night. Instead of sending paragraphs, you send something measured, careful. You're getting bold. That's it. No explanation. No emoji overload. You let the sentence hang. She reads it twice. Now her mind fills in the tension. Desire crystallizes in the gap between what is happening and what could happen. Machiavelli would have advised you to never give the full experience at once. Anticipation strengthens attachment. When you allow a woman to feel the buildup instead of rushing to the payoff, her nervous system shifts into expectation mode. Dopamine rises not from contact, but from suspense. Most men kill desire because they either over-explain attraction or over-express it. They say, "I really like you," too early. They compliment too directly. They remove mystery. When everything is stated openly, nothing needs to be imagined. What you must do instead is slow escalation down just enough that her body becomes aware of its own response. Let your voice drop slightly when conversations turn personal. Let pauses stretch half a second longer. Maintain eye contact until she looks away first. When you finally touch her hand, do it deliberately, and then remove it before she expects you to. That small withdrawal is powerful. It makes her skin register the absence. And here's the shift that most men fail to see. When emotional tension is sustained properly, physical intimacy starts to feel inevitable. Not pressured, not forced, inevitable. Because her body has already rehearsed the moment in her imagination multiple times before it happens. But tension alone is not enough. If you want her to move from curiosity to hunger, you must introduce something even stronger, a signal of controlled dominance that makes surrender feel intoxicating. And that is where the third hack becomes transformative. The third hack you must use if you want a woman to move from tension to raw desire is this. You must project controlled dominance, the kind that makes her body feel both challenged and protected at the same time. A woman does not crave chaos. She craves contained power. There is a difference between aggression and dominance. Aggression is loud, unstable, reactive. Dominance is quiet, measured, deliberate. It's the feeling that if something went wrong, you would not panic. If someone challenged you, you would not shrink. If the moment intensified, you would not lose control. Picture something simple that applies to any man, whether you go out often or not. You're walking beside her down the street, through a store, even just across a parking lot. Instead of drifting beside her aimlessly, you subtly guide her with your hand at the lower part of her back when changing direction. Firm enough to lead. Light enough to allow choice. You don't ask. You move. She follows. That micro moment registers. Or imagine you're sitting close, conversation slowing down. Instead of nervously filling silence, you lean in slightly, hold her gaze and say in a lower tone, "You're trouble." Then you let the sentence hang. No laugh to soften it. No immediate explanation. Just steady eye contact. Her body reacts before her mind does. Machiavelli would have advised you, it is better to possess strength and choose restraint than to appear harmless. A woman must feel that you are capable, not that you are seeking permission to exist. Most men sabotage themselves here by becoming overly cautious the moment tension rises. They ask too many verbal confirmations. They over-clarify intentions. They drain the moment of intensity. In doing so, they unconsciously signal uncertainty. What you must do instead is escalate physically in small, deliberate increments while maintaining calm composure. When you touch her hand, hold it fully. When you pull her closer, do it with certainty. When you kiss her, do not rush. Pause just before contact. Let her breath change, then close the gap with confidence. Desire intensifies when she feels that you are choosing the moment, not stumbling into it. Here is the deeper psychological layer. Controlled dominance removes cognitive friction. She no longer has to decide whether something is happening. She feels led. And when leadership feels grounded rather than chaotic, surrender becomes natural. And once she begins associating your presence with that grounded intensity, her body starts anticipating what comes next before you even initiate it. But dominance without scarcity turns into predictability, and predictability slowly dissolves hunger. That's why the fourth hack is what transforms attraction into obsession. The fourth hack you must use if you want a woman to actively want to sleep with you is this. You must make your attention valuable by not making it constant. Desire expands in space. When a woman feels you are always available, always replying instantly, always ready to adjust your schedule for her, tension dissolves. But when your time feels structured, when your attention feels earned rather than given automatically, something shifts. She begins to invest. Imagine this in a way any man can apply. You're texting her in the evening. The conversation is warm, slightly flirtatious. Instead of stretching it endlessly until it dies, you end it first. "I've got to handle something. Talk tomorrow." No over-explaining, no apology, just direction. Now she goes to sleep with unfinished energy. That unfinished energy turns into anticipation. Or imagine you're spending time together and things are getting close. Eye contact deep, her voice softer. Instead of escalating endlessly until she dictates the pace, you pull back slightly. You stand up. You shift the dynamic. You break the rhythm at a high point. That interruption plants desire. Her body remembers where the moment paused. Machiavelli would have advised you never to give all your power in one offering. When something feels unlimited, it loses value. When something feels measured, it gains weight. Most men fear losing momentum, so they overstay moments. They talk too long. They explain too much. They remain present beyond the peak. And by doing so, they allow desire to flatten instead of sharpen. What you must do instead is recognize when energy is rising and step back slightly before it plateaus. Leave her with heightened sensation rather than completion. Leave her wanting the next layer. This is not about playing games. It's about understanding rhythm. Physical desire builds when anticipation stretches between encounters. When she replays your voice, your touch, your pause, without immediate access to it again, craving begins to form. And here's what most men never realize. When your presence becomes something she cannot access on demand, her imagination begins to amplify you. But scarcity alone is not enough, because if she cannot feel depth behind that distance, attraction turns into confusion instead of hunger. That's where the fifth hack becomes critical. The fifth hack you must use if you want a woman to think about sleeping with you when you're not even there is this. You must give her just enough of you to awaken curiosity, and then stop. Desire deepens when imagination fills the gaps. A woman does not obsess over the man who reveals everything immediately. She becomes intrigued by the man she cannot fully read, not emotionally distant, but layered, controlled, selective. Picture this in the most ordinary scenario. You're on a video call. Conversation turns slightly personal. Instead of unloading your entire past, you say, "There's a side of me you haven't seen yet." Then you shift topics. No dramatic tone, just calm certainty. That sentence lingers. Now she wonders what that side looks like. In conversation, in tension, in intimacy. Or imagine you're sitting close, your knee brushing hers. She asks what you're thinking. Most men answer instantly. You pause, you hold her gaze. You don't want to know. Slight smirk. Then silence. Her body registers the ambiguity. The unknown becomes erotic. Machiavelli would have advised you that power lies in controlled revelation. The more predictable you are, the easier you are to categorize. The harder you are to categorize, the more mentally space you occupy. Most men sabotage this by oversharing too early. They confess feelings quickly. They narrate every thought. They remove uncertainty because they want reassurance. But reassurance dissolves sexual polarity. What you must do instead is reveal yourself in stages. Let her discover you gradually. When conversations turn flirtatious, don't escalate verbally too far. Suggest, imply. Leave threads unfinished. Let your tone drop slightly when tension builds. Let your eyes communicate more than your mouth. Mystery is not silence, it's controlled access. Here is the deeper layer. When she cannot fully decode you, her imagination begins to project intensity onto you. She fills in the blanks with fantasy. And fantasy is far more powerful than explicit description. When she starts replaying your pauses, your half-finished sentences, your calm eye contact, she is no longer just interacting with you. She is mentally rehearsing you. But mystery without emotional grounding can feel unstable. To truly move her from curiosity to physical surrender, you must trigger something deeper, a sense of emotional possession that feels voluntary, not forced. And that final hack is what transforms attraction into inevitability. The sixth hack you must use if you want a woman to go from attraction to willingly wanting your body is this. You must make her feel chosen and subtly claimed through your presence, not your words. This is the shift that changes everything. A woman doesn't surrender physically because you convinced her. She surrenders because she feels emotionally anchored in your certainty. She feels that when she steps closer to you, she is stepping into something solid, intentional, and exclusive. Picture this clearly. You're sitting close. Conversation slows. Instead of asking, "Are you okay with this?" Every few seconds in a nervous tone, you look at her with calm intensity and say quietly, "Come here." Not aggressive, not rushed, certain. When she moves closer, you don't celebrate it. You accept it like it was inevitable. That inevitability is intoxicating. Or imagine you're texting. Instead of, "Do you want to come over?" you say, "Be at my place at 8. Wear something comfortable." There's direction. There's assumption. But it's grounded, not forceful. If she agrees, she feels like she stepped into your frame willingly. That feeling of stepping into your world by choice triggers something primal. Machiavelli would have advised you that true power is not forcing submission. It is creating conditions where submission feels voluntary. When a woman feels that you are choosing her deliberately, not clinging to her out of scarcity, her attraction shifts from curiosity to hunger. Most men ruin this final stage by becoming uncertain right when momentum peaks. They overtalk. They ask too many questions. They soften their energy because they fear losing the moment. And in that hesitation, the polarity collapses. What you must do instead is stay grounded when tension rises. When you move closer, move fully. When you kiss her, do it slowly, deliberately, without apology. When you pull her toward you, let your hands communicate confidence before your mouth says anything. Your body language must say, "I am here. I am steady. I am not unsure." Here is the deeper psychological truth that will change everything for you. A woman wants to feel that being with you is a decision she makes because she feels drawn, not pressured, not negotiated, drawn. When she feels that your presence is firm, controlled, and emotionally anchored, surrender feels safe. And safe mixed with intensity becomes desire that escalates naturally. This is where everything converges. Frame control made you stable. Emotional tension made her aware. Controlled dominance made surrender feel contained. Scarcity made her anticipate you. Mystery made her imagine you. But this final layer, making her feel chosen within your certainty, is what turns anticipation into action. When you embody all of this, you stop chasing physical intimacy. You become the environment where it unfolds. And once a woman feels that stepping into your arms feels both exciting and inevitable, you no longer wonder how to make her want you. You become the man she moves toward. If you made it this far, you already have an advantage most men will never claim, because most men refuse to look beneath the surface. You didn't just listen. You studied the dynamics. Now it's simple. Don't try to become impressive. Become grounded, controlled, intentional. Apply this with discipline, not desperation. Attraction isn't luck, it's structure. Master your frame, master your energy, master your timing. Do that consistently, and you don't chase women anymore. You become the man they lean toward without realizing why. This is how you stop hoping and start commanding. Build yourself into that man and watch how the world responds. If this opened your eyes and you're serious about becoming the man who's in full control of his life, my book is now available. The Undeniable Man, Built to be Chosen. It's a strategic guide for men who want to attract, lead, and dominate in their love life and beyond. Whether you're single or in a relationship, no fluff, no tricks, just pure, powerful strategy that will set you apart from 99% of men, and that you will actually use every day. The link is in the description. And if this video spoke to you, don't just keep it to yourself. Write a comment. Even if you don't know what to say, just type, "Let's build," or "Time to execute." Let that be your reminder to move, not just think. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this content. Share it with someone who, in your eyes, needs it right now. Trust your instinct. We're all trying to get clearer, more solid inside. So let's build minds that don't break.